3S mouse, and also MX Mechanical Mini keyboard. So this is probably the most famous lineup of productivity tools for any creator out there. And I'm someone who has used the Logitech MX line ever since the original performance mouse and eventually became the Master line, the Master 2, and also the Master 3, which I actually flew to Switzerland and got an inside look of how they kind of design and R&D all of these products throughout these different iterations. Even though I am excited about the MX 3S update, what I'm most excited about here is actually the MX Mechanical keys as well as the MX Mechanical Mini, because it is like a new take on the keyboard that builds upon the MX keys productivity options as well as the craft keyboard that is kind of built for creators, but instead brings together a mechanical take in a productivity keyboard option that is also available in 3 different key switch options while also looking very minimal, having the wireless technology from Logitech, and just having a great feel and form factor overall. I'd like to give a huge thanks to Logitech for sponsoring this video, and if you guys like to win a product from this new lineup, just make sure you subscribe to the channel, drop a thumbs up on this video, and leave a comment down below as to what your favorite feature is, and I'll be picking a winner in a month and contacting you directly on Instagram, so don't reply to any of the spam comments below. So let's just go ahead and start out by talking about the MX Mechanical and the MX Mechanical Mini keyboard. This is something that I'm so excited about because if you guys have seen on the channel in the recent months, I've checked out a whole bunch of different keyboards, some of which are more focused on the mechanical side, such as the Keychron, while others also have the creator take, such as the HP Creator keyboard. And we've also checked out some of the budget offerings, such as the Havit, and all of them have a different approach to different consumers. And personally, I'm someone who uses my computer for video editing, typing up emails and notes, and not necessarily for gaming, but there is a huge market out there for mechanical keyboards and also custom ones for people who are focused on productivity alone. And I think there's just something about typing on a mechanical keyboard that is just extremely satisfying, and I've been using the Logitech MX keys for a while now, and I think this is the perfect hybrid. For starters, you take a look at the design, and it's very characteristic of Logitech's whole productivity lineup with the gray finish that is very sleek, very well put together, and you can see the construction here is very solid. There is the metal backing, there's no sorts of bend or anything, and at the same time it also has really nice angle to it, and so from an ergonomic standpoint, that is the first thing that is checked off. In terms of the actual typing offerings, it comes in the MX Mechanical, which includes a number pad over here, and you can also get the version that is the MX Mechanical Mini. Personally, I don't need that number pad at all, so the MX Mechanical Mini is going to be the one that I personally use because it just doesn't take up as much space on my desk. And especially when it comes to my desk setup, I have a color grading panel and a whole bunch of stuff all over the place, so being able to have a keyboard that minimizes its footprint has kind of been a preference. In terms of the 3 different key switches that you have the option between, you have the tactile quiet one known as the brown switch, and that gives you a very precise and controlled feedback that is just a bit more muted and doesn't produce too much audible noise, and that is the one that I have right here. And the second one is the linear one, which is also known as the red switch, which gives you a nice fast reactivity and an ultra smooth typing feeling. Just because of the sound feedback being right in the middle, it feels like there's a bit more travel to it. But if you want the one that is just super clicky, there is also the blue switch, which gives you that nice gratifying and audible click, as well as the tactile feedback that you would expect out of all the mechanical keyboards of this lineup. So it is nice that you can at least pick the one that best suits your needs. But personally, I would say the red one is probably my favorite, but I did also enjoy my experience of having the brown one because before going towards the MX keys, I actually was using the Apple keyboard, which, as you know, doesn't really have any travel at all and has no additional keyboard features aside from just looking very minimal. In terms of giving you guys a bit of an ASMR demonstration of how it sounds, here's just an audible test of the brown switch, which is the quietest of the 3. Another great feature of a third-party keyboard though is having a nice backlight. I'm someone who works on my videos like all the way through the night, and so I've always had issues where certain keyboards just don't have a backlight, and at the same time I can't see parts of my color grading panel. So I usually have to have like a BenQ light on top of like the monitor just to be able to give me some light to see what I'm doing. And so in this case, you actually have a smart backlighting setup that is able to precisely adjust the brightness based on the ambient scenario, but you also have manual control through the keyboard itself and also through the Logitech Options software. The different modes of backlight sighting include the static one, which is like the system default, as well as breathing, reaction, contrast, wave, and random. I usually just have it set to static, but I know everyone has their own preferences, and another touch that also benefits in terms of knowing where you are on the keyboard is the two-tone layout. So you can see the QWERTY aspect of it is kind of a light gray, and then throughout it there's like a subtle shift to like a darker gray, which isn't very obvious from an angle, but if you take a look at it from the center here, it definitely helps draw your eyes exactly to where it needs to be when you start typing at any given time. When it comes to the actual charging situation, you have a USB Type-C on the back here, and on a full charge with the backlight on, you're able to get about 10 days, which matches what you get on the MX keys. And if you have the backlight off completely, then you can actually get up to 5 months of battery life. So I found like the happy medium is to have it off during the daytime, and then in the evening, I manually enable it to be able to at least stretch the battery to like a good medium point of like 1.5 to 2 months. Charging it is super fast and easy though, and I do have like a USB Type-C port that is hanging from the desk, so it isn't really an issue, but definitely something to keep in mind. So in terms of the actual productivity typing experience of the MX mechanical keys, how do I think this stacks up against some of the other offerings on the market? I think Logitech is really good at making keyboards that are low profile and at the same time an easy, direct replacement to the first-party keyboards out there. If you're used to like the keyboard that comes with your Mac or coming from your laptop, then you're traditionally used to like a lower profile key type. And I think most people who are just doing like general productivity and not necessarily gaming are just used to that form factor. So this keyboard is by no means meant to replace like a gaming keyboard or target towards the gaming market, but it can double as that if you're someone who casually games on your computer as well. If the bulk of your work is like productivity, typing documents, schoolwork, emails, and you're used to that laptop form factor, then I think this is the perfect step up. So another product that also got updated with this release is the Logitech MX Master 3S mouse. And you guys know I've been a huge fan of this lineup. It is just so incredible in so many ways, and I've been using it ever since I started YouTube. From the original MX Performance. That was a mouse that was super reviewed and already really popular, but over the years, they have just continued to make it better. This update kind of speaks for itself in its name, and that is an S iteration. So from the outside, it looks exactly the same great features that you find on the Logitech MX Master 3, but some of the upgrades include better tracking sensitivity at up to 8,000 DPI compared to the previous 4,000. The reason why this is a huge advantage is that you're able to track on any surface, including glass. So if you bring this around with you anywhere, whether you're like sitting in your living room and using your coffee table or maybe on a marble table, a lot of times most mice out there will have issues tracking the surface, but in this case, it is able to work just like it would on any other surface. I also noticed with a lot of products that I've tested out on like a white table, for example, it might have issues being able to sense where it is, but due to the high tracking sensitivity, not only is it able to let you like navigate around your screen very quickly, but it is just able to track on more variety of surfaces. They've also changed the material to PCR plastics and no plastic FCS packaging, so it does improve the sustainability aspect a little bit. And one other small update that I actually think helps directly in my industry is that it now has a quieter click. So on a traditional mouse, you're gonna hear like a pretty loud and audible click, which I mean, in some cases is okay, and I never really noticed it to be an issue, but I do have like voiceovers that I do for my YouTube videos, and every time I do like a start and end click, you can kind of hear the mouse click pick up in the mic, and although we can just like typically cut that out, there are a lot of scenarios where I click the end record while I'm still filming. So here's a bit of a comparison of how the mouse click sounds on the MX Master 3 compared to the MX Master 3S. So now that we've taken a look at the new products, including the Logitech MX Mechanical Keyboard, as well as the MX Master 3S, some of the updates that come with all the products in this new release include updates to the Logitech Options Plus software and its customization, as well as a Logitech Bolt receiver, which now comes standard with all of the new products. So essentially what the Logitech Bolt receiver is like the new generation to the Logitech MX unifying receiver, which is like the USB dongle that connects to the keyboard or the mouse if you want to be able to set it up wirelessly with your computer that way. And even though there is the option to use Bluetooth on both of these products, I run into an issue where I have way too many products in the office, and with the amount of like metal screens and the computers, I often had Bluetooth issues with certain types of Macs. And so I always try to utilize the unifying receiver because I don't want to go through the hassle of having to reconnect the device, figure out what the issue is. So the Logitech receiver itself just gives you a nice direct connection. The Bolt, hence its name, has an industry-leading 4 millisecond latency response, which is extremely good compared to what you typically find out of a USB receiver. And at the same time, it also utilizes the option of Bluetooth Low Energy. You can pair up to 6 Logibolt wireless mice and keyboards to a single receiver, and all the products in the MX line are also able to connect to 3 different devices at the exact same time and allow you to seamlessly scroll and utilize between these devices as if they were one. If you're in like a crowded corporate office where there's just so many accessories and computers, then having the Logitech Bolt is going to be a huge advantage when it comes to reliability. And just for the latency reasons alone is the reason why I always utilize this instead of connecting directly to the computer for Bluetooth. So on the topic of software, you can see here I have my MX Master 3S as well as an MX Mechanical Mini connected to the Logitech Bolt unifying receiver. But from a customizability standpoint, Logitech has updated to Options Plus, which gives you all of the customizability functions on your keyboard and mouse. See all the buttons mapped out, and I can adjust the middle button, the button on the top, as well as the horizontal and the vertical wheel, the forward button, as well as the back button, and also the gesture found where the thumb is located. All these can be set to custom functions, and you can also set the specific feed and responsiveness, but what is very interesting is the fact that you can also customize these commands depending on the applications that you use. So for example, Photoshop, Final Cut, and Google Chrome are things that I use on an everyday basis. So by having certain commands in Final Cut, such as having the Blade 2 available with the click of a button, is super handy, but in Chrome perhaps I might want to just scroll through the tabs using the horizontal wheel. I think what's really great to see here is that with a productivity mouse, you still have full range of customizability to be able to enhance and speed up your overall workflow exactly the way that you would like it. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching this video where we're checking out some of the new products from Logitech, including the MX Mechanical keys, as well as the MX Master 3S mouse. These are products that make me so excited, and I'm going to be integrating this into my everyday workflow because I feel like this just checks off all the boxes of what I'm looking for in a mechanical keyboard for my productivity setting. It's got a backlight, it is compact, has a really nice typing experience, it connects with accessories that I already use through the Logitech Bolt system, and I've already been a user of the MX Master 3 for a while and really appreciate that it is a lot quieter, and the improved sensitivity is also going to be great when it comes to bringing this mouse when I'm traveling and using different services, but maybe not necessarily a difference that I'm going to notice in like my everyday office use case. And on top of that, an issue that I always run into with my Apple keyboards is that I spill water on my desk all the time. And the fact that this is kind of like a very nice like open concept means I can just clean this keyboard very easily. There's always like dust and food trapped in the keys. I know it's like super disgusting, but yeah, this is just like one that really suits the needs, and I can really understand that productivity aspect of people wanting